right, my name is Katie Myers.
And I'm Leanne Jameson.
And I sound a little bit like I took up smoking again. I have a summer cold. I I like it and I don't like it. I apologize to listeners if does not sound rich and of quality, but I have a little bit of a rasp. I may have a cough. I'm going to make it. It's going to be fine. I did not start smoking, for the record. But we are, Katie and Leanne, so many things over the years have defined us, but in this space, really being cheerleaders and advocates and rule breakers, I think is what defines us here at Sit Crooked Talk Straight. And we've been doing this now for a couple years. If you're a new listener, we welcome you. We hope that something lands for you today. We are all about empowering women, talking about real things. We are real women. We are professionals. We're moms. We're wives. We're all the things. And no bullshit. We're not going to sugarcoat a whole lot. And so today, what are we talking about today? Because I know the Olympics are here.
Just finished up. Yes, the Olympics are, well, they're finishing up. We are recording this during like the last week, a couple days or whatever of them. And we really wanted to get on and talk about this phenomenon that is happening with women on the rise and women supporting each other. And this is something that I know I hold of great value. And I know that I'll speak for Katie. I know she does too, as far as us cheering each other on and being able to see that when we actually connect, when we collaborate, when we cheer each other on, we go further, right? And I think that we've talked about this before where I heard this quote and I could never find out where it came from. But it's like, we go further together, right? Yeah. We go further together. And if anything, in the Olympics is showing us this, right? The complete camaraderie. Yes, they're competing against each other. Obviously, it's the Olympics, and we can do so with grace. We can do so with excitement for the other person, and lifting each other up. There was a moment in the Olympics that I was really upset about, where people were really bashing the woman boxer. I want to find her name again. And I dove a little bit more into it. I'm like, what is going on here, right? The Algerian boxer, Amin, I'm going to say it wrong, Khalif, right? And she won the Olympic medal, and people were really, really down on her, saying she shouldn't have competed. She has more testosterone. That's why people were saying that. She is not of the quote unquote normal physique of women. And it intrigued me, because I'm like, wait, are there trans, is she trans? Because it was very elusive, the first headline that I read, is she trans? Is that why people are so upset? Whatever. No, she's a fucking woman. And she was being criticized and stuff. So that really, that I was so sad about. And what I want to do is bring in what it does look like to actually support each other and cheer each other on, like Simone Biles has, right? And she has been one of the biggest in there, as far as I can see, as far as, just the how do I want to say, focus. There's been a lot of focus on her. And I know that she has a docu-series as well that I'm super excited to watch. And I can't believe I haven't watched it yet. So there's a lot of great happening. I was a little disappointed with that one. And I'm like, one out of how many though, right? I feel like we're going in the right direction. And surrounding ourselves with women are showing up for each other. And I am so excited. I am so excited that it's finally coming to this, and they're showing us, because actually I did a post, I think it was earlier this week, about I don't look to politicians, even though there's a lot happening in politics, and we'll talk about that at another time. I'm not, completely, blind to what is happening in politics. But I truly don't look to politicians to healing and helping the world. I actually look to my left. I look to my right. We look to the women who are in the Olympics and all of the there's been so much happening in female sports that has just taken women to this next level. I had a great conversation with my husband about it, and like how there were some things happening, in basketball that he was like, yeah, there's so much, just negativity around females. He's like, you can tell who the real sportswomen are, and who, maybe not so much. Anyways, and you'll see that anywhere, right? In any gender, truly.
Sure.
But here specifically with women, when we're looking at women on the rise, really, truly shining a light on the Olympics and the beauty that's happening there, and just the great and amazing role models that we get to look at and that our children get to look at, because we are all breaking barriers, right? Part of Simone's story and experience is starting her own gym, right? Her own space where she could do things differently, because it was so toxic in the gymnast world, and body shaming, and there's so much that she created her own space, and that's how her determination and her vision to change the world. So when we don't have to be in the Olympics, and we don't have to have millions of dollars to change the world. And that's why I say I look to my left, I look to my right, because we are doing this in our communities. And this is just another, they have the platform to be able to share that and show up in this way. And how fucking beautiful is that? Like, so anyways, I feel like I sort of just rambled on. But yeah, what's your feel and take? I just get so giddy.
I know. I can hear the enthusiasm and the excitement and the kind of the like relief of like finally we're able to point to, yes, there are lots of things where we could point to the negative and the criticism and the judgment and the hard, but like what it was Mr. Rogers said, like search for the people who are doing good. They're there, like they exist. And what you're talking about, like the rising tide, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
Like that sentiment of it is not about one person. Yes, it's a competition. And yes, there's a sportsmanship that goes along. But in Elle magazine, they called it the Girl Olympics. And really like highlighting these different incidences or examples of like Simone and Jordan when they were getting medals for the floor final, and they bowed down to the Brazilian gymnast Rebecca Andrade. Like that's not just being a good sport.
Yes.
That's helping your sister rise to another level, and not to mention that there were 3 Black women on the podium.
Right? I noticed that too. I was like, yes.
There's so many victories and things to celebrate, and ways that we're like cheering each other on. And of course, again, the competition, the internal competitor is like, they've trained sometimes their entire lives for that moment. They want it. They want it bad, probably worse than what any of us normal people would ever understand.
Right.
Yet to be able to, Sha'Carri Richardson, after she got second place, when she turned around and she gave that gold medal winner from St. Lucia's a hug, and like, you don't have to do that, right? Like you don't have to, you can just keep it moving. But to be intentional and to support your sister it's a whole nother level of, I think, maturity and grace and willingness to set ego aside for a moment.
Right. I feel like there's such a bigger connection to just humanity and like putting humanity first above all else, where it's just like, we are connected in this. Because I've heard so much, like in my realm, even of like the competition and like, and we're running from like this, they're like, oh, there's so many, for instance, like just on a smaller scale, I'm going to bring it down to a smaller scale for a second, of coaches. Like there's so many coaches, like why, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I'm a constant advocate and reminder of like, dude, there are 8 billion people in the world. I think we're good. I think we're good. We're not oversaturating anything. We're like, why are we being so nasty? Like, stop. And that's what they're showing us again. When you have that big platform, this actually, I'm just like, when you were talking about, about like when we're looking at Simone and being able to look at the camaraderie there, and Simone and Jordan actually bowing down, right? It's like that I'm already like emotional. I was telling Katie before this started, I'm like, I am like all up in my feels this week, 100% in my feels. And
she is embracing it. Y'all,
I am.
She is allowing it and accepting it and feeling it. And
but like as you were talking, I just started like tearing up, and I had like full body chills because of what this means, right? What this means on the bigger scale. In the book Professional Troublemaker, she talks about Lovey talks about how it's like when you do have this bigger platform, you really do have a responsibility, right? To speak up for those people who don't have the platform, to show up for those people who don't have that platform. And it's a responsibility that we do take as leaders and as Olympians, right? That they are leaders. We are, like, how many people? I don't even know how many people are watching, right? We can research that and see, but like billions upon billions of people watching and seeing this and seeing it. And not only, I also want to identify too the men who are showing up for the women, right? And cheering them on and saying, hell yes. And this is the way that it's meant to be. It's just so cool. I remember seeing this picture, of course, I can't remember his name, but he was, I want to say he was a swimmer. I could be wrong. And he was crocheting. He was crocheting during it. He was like there supporting the women. But it was for a bigger cause too, right? Like he actually puts them out, and it's for charity and to fundraise and stuff like that. But like when you see this, it's just so beautiful because first of all, this is what I see. This is my take on it, is that women are actually rising. Women are showing and showing up for each other in a way. And when we do that, that's when that spreads like wildfire, right? We talk about fear spreading like wildfire. So can love and compassion and courage and all of the things. It's just how we choose to do it. Are we going to be running fear, which is what we've been trained to do, conditioned to do for so long? And that's why we weren't able to show up for each other this way. You see a huge transition here, and I'm so fucking here for it. Like, I'm so excited that we get to experience this as we're, there's so many things shifting and changing. And we're doing that, right? We're saying no more of this. And yes, we're doing this, right? Like, no more am I going to prescribe to this reality. We're creating a new reality because what we've been doing has fucked us up.
it's not worked, right? Like, it's been ineffective at best and just really damaging at worst. And I looked up the gender equality statistics numbers because I think what you're referencing is in part due to more women coming into the Olympics. And so from this particular, it's Olympics.com, there's an article, Gender Equality, but it says that these women started the race to 2024, the last step toward historic Olympic gender equality. And there are 10,500 athletes. The games in Paris right now, there are just as many women as there are men. So we can't underestimate the power, like showing up, like showing up. Then I think second comes using that voice and that platform when you have it, not if you have it, but when you have it, because we all have some influence on somebody. Somebody is listening to us somewhere, whether it's our children, whether it's a classroom, whether it's a client, whether it's a stadium full of people. Every single one of us has somebody in our life that listens to us. And so we can use that platform, however you when I describe it, for good and for, so it's showing up, using your voice. And then I don't even know what the next like level is other than, like in my gut, it's like fight like hell. It's like never give up, do not back down. There will be adversity. There will be, you will lose. You will lose races. You will lose situations. Things will not work out, but we stay the course, right? Like we stay. And Simone is another example of that, because when she backed out of Tokyo Olympics in 2020 because of mental health reasons, there was so much backlash. And so, I mean, there was also a lot of support, again, trying to reduce the stigma of mental health. And she was just like, I'm not going to do it the way that everyone wants me to do it.
Right. And that's a trailblazer.
And the tenacity that is required to be a trailblazer. And so it's showing up, using your voice, and not giving up or giving in. And that is how we as sisters, when we are loving and realizing that we're not against each other, we're in this collective race, if you will, together. And the women who came before us in the Olympics that were paving the way, thank God for those women.
Right.
I can't think of the name of it was a Boston marathoner back in the, I don't even know when it was, but it was very early on. I think she was arrested for running the marathon. Because it was for men only. And I'm like, I want to believe that I would, if there was something that was like in front of me that I was like, I felt so strongly about, that I would put it all on the line. And those women inspire me to take baby steps, to put little things on the line. Sometimes it's relationships with people, sometimes it's awkward conversations, sometimes it's, standing up and defending things that just aren't right, that are not okay, sexist, homophobic, racist, whatever. But thank God we have these women as inspiration. But here's the other piece, and this is what I want listeners to hear, is that you just said, doesn't matter what your platform is, everyone has somebody in their life that is listening to them. Be the voice. Show up, be that voice, and never stop.
Right.
Because when the tide rises, all the boats are lifted up.
Right. Well, and I think it's so important to find the community and the crew that's going to lift you up too, right? And that's why I said it's like, that I know some people out there that's like, no, there's still competition and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's scarcity. That's not where I live. So that is what I choose to let go of and live in and surround myself by women who are lifting each other up. Find them. Search them out, be one of them, right? That's what Katie's saying, is be one of them, and they will attract to you. You will find them. And sometimes we do have to be that light that shines first, to let people know that it's safe and that it's okay. And again, it's just like looking at all of these beautiful Olympians. Like I think about Selena and how she tended to Lucia, right? When she fell on the track, and like, that's compassion, that's humanity. That's what we're leading from. And that's where it's like, and where it started oftentimes, like when I think about Simone, of like this fire within of like, fuck no, I'm not going to do this anymore. And we get angry enough to do something different. And what I love about these women is that they're showing up and they're fighting with compassion. You know what I mean? Like that's their weapon, is this cheerleading, compassion, love. And it's like not anger and it's not fear. Now anger gets us to a certain point of like no longer accepting this. And then it's, what do we want to do with it and how do we want to show up? Right.
Right. So it's kind of like anger. Anger is not a bad emotion. Anger is not there are no good or bad emotions except for shame. Shame falls into the negative emotion, but there are no good or
shame is actually useless. So anyways, go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with fear or anger being a part of. If it motivates you, if it pushes you to that next level, then bring it, right? Like, let me experience all of that if it pushes me to the next level. It's not the experience of the emotion that is negative or positive. It is what we do with it. Emotions are just
Exactly.
emotions. They're
Exactly.
non things. They're just
Yep.
emotions.
Yep.
So I love that. I love that, like the fire in your belly, like let that anger kind of, and let it build that passion and that like, again, the word tenacity comes up, that tenacity inside of you to go for something and to not give up, do not back down. And
Yes.
when you use, I love your analogy of like the weapon of compassion is so much more effective. It feels counterintuitive. There will be people that will be naysayers and say that is not how it works. But using compassion, like killing them with kindness, that statement, kill them with kindness. I love that because
Yes.
sometimes like that is the most effective. And by the way, it's the only thing that you have control over. We only have
Right.
control over our behavior. And if it comes out sideways and it comes out in jealousy and rage and um, resentment and all the other emotions, and we act on that, that tide's not going anywhere. We're keeping
Right.
things status quo. And
Exactly.
ladies, we don't have time to keep things status quo.
They were status quo for how long was it? The Olympics? We're finally getting 100 what?
124 years from 1900 to 2024. And this year, there's now
Gender equality.
equality between women participating in the games as men.
Yep. Yep. So that is why we have no fucking time to bullshit around anymore.
TikTok, ladies, TikTok.
TikTok. So I know that we've mentioned a whole bunch of different like references. So definitely check out Elle Magazine. And the title of the article there is At the Girl Olympics, Everyone's a Winner. I also mentioned Professional Troublemaker by Lovie Jones. And I believe there was one other thing, the Olympics.com, right? Is where you found.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gender equality at Olympics.com.
Yes, yes. So our challenge, our intention, our encouragement for you is to reflect on how you're showing up in your platform. And again, the platform might be your, your desk as a teacher. Your platform might be, as a parent. Your platform might be on social media. Your platform might be on speaking, engagements and on, huge stages. Whatever it is, know that you're showing up. Your platform might be the couch, right? That you're healing and helping people from. Whatever it may be, know that you have a platform and know that you matter and know that what you do and say matters, and how do you want to show up every single day? How are you showing up every single day to support each other, to support women specifically, and to show up as your best self? So I'm so excited that we get to have this conversation. And shed even more light on it. I see it in social media, and I'm just like reposting, resharing, just like anything we can do to get the word out, as like billions of people are watching. So I want to thank all the Olympians. I want to thank, everybody who is taking that stand for the people that don't necessarily have the larger platforms. And I'm just so again, just like in awe and honored that we get to experience this, and that our kids get to experience this, or our nieces and our nephews and our, everybody gets to experience this together. So what a beautiful space to be in. So super excited. And that is a wrap. We just, we're always sending you love and compassion and wanting your light to shine. So definitely take that stand, take that step, listen to that voice within that tells you, to speak up and to say more and to do more. Not that you're not doing enough, but just there's always some pull that that allows us to show up in our highest vision and version. So we're here for it. We're here to support you. We would love to, if you have any how do I want to say, anything to share, any people that inspire you, because that's really what we've been talking about, is the inspiration. We want to know about that. We want to highlight them too. I think it's so important to shine a light on the mentors and the women who are showing up. So let us know. And
take a moment today to send a thank you to a woman in your life who has been an inspiration or who has paved the way for you.
Love it.
It can be as simple as a text message of like, hey, I listened to this podcast, made me think of you, and share with them the podcast. And then thank you for being that beacon or that light or that paver or that trailblazer in my world. That will set the world on fire with appreciation.
Love. Thank you, Katie, for being in my life and being an inspiration.
Thank you.
I love you too. All right. Until next time, ladies, keep shining that light. Shine it bright and lead with compassion. Sending so much love and light your way. Mwah.
Mwah.